Hi. I think thank you, Aakanksha, for setting that theme. And I'll just take the last thread that you said, particularly themes around fear and on the other hand, what that woman is doing, and what to even keep doing simple things to not sink. Because right now the collective energy is that of sinking, of drowning, of overwhelm, where we're all just everything is happening so fast that we're trying to hold on to something to not sink. And we're still in Pisces season, which is the last of the astrological signs before we sort of end the astrological year, and then we move on to the new astrological year. So this is the last sign. And just as we always talk about sort of the end of the journey, or the end of a cycle, if you think of a long journey before you reach your destination, that's when, or even a marathon, you think of all the exhaustion, you think of all the bad thoughts, like you start doubting yourself, like, I was stupid to have signed up for this marathon, man. Why am I running? My legs hurt, I am tired. Who does this? No humans do this. Why do we put our bodies through it? And but often it is just right in that sort of last few kilometers, and the moment you cross that finish line and you're on the other side, you're like, oh, that was such a silly thought. That was the best decision of my life. And I want to sign up for the next one. Like if we look at that, anytime we've been on a hike, on a trek, the last part is just excruciating. And you're questioning everything that you did, and all, not just like your decision to even go on a hike, but you're questioning things from your past, like maybe a childhood thought of like, oh, my dad told me I should have never, I was never sporty, I should not even do these things. So that analogy and this visual I wanted to share, because that's how we're feeling right now at an emotional and spiritual level. Pisces energy is very much water energy. Emotions are running very, very high and intense. And also it's the last purge, so think of a whirlpool. Pisces energy sits very underwater, deep to the depths of the ocean. So if you're familiar with Hindu mythology, the Sagar Manthan, the big churning that happened between the Devas and the Asuras, from before there was venom, but before that Amrit could come out, before the nectar that, gives us all energy and everything, it was a whirlpool. It all felt like, everybody who was there felt like the big churning. So this is what is happening, and this is really asking us for, this is the final purge. So if you are getting symbols, this is a time for a lot of dreams, a lot of crazy symbolic dreams. It's okay, because you might be feeling fears that you think you have dealt with years ago, months ago, and they might suddenly come up, and you might feel even more exhausted and overwhelmed, saying, oh, I thought I dealt with this. Why is this back? Or wait, am I happy? I think I'm happy and excited, but I'm also really scared about this possibility. So as we're in this space, I think what is really critical to remember, as Aakanksha also said, we stick to the everyday. We remember that the way out of this sinking feeling is that actually this needs to happen for us to be able to move. The next, we're feeling this as we're talking about it. The next, as this astrological year ends, the next sign that we get into, the first, the brat, the infant fatale, is Aries energy. Aries is the one that jumps without thinking. That's the one that goes, charges, is very fiery, is very passionate. So that energy is coming in. You are going to cross the finish line. It's coming in about 2 weeks. This big energy shift is happening. So we really are towards the end of everything. So hang on. Know that this, whatever's coming up, is probably residual. It's things that you did not really clear up and needs that clearing. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to, like, a lot of places, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, things are getting hotter. Pay attention to fluids in your body, how that fluids are feeling in your body, because this is really about taking care. Because in about 2 weeks, that energy is shifting, and you want to be ready to take that leap. You want to be able to jump without thinking, because you're ready. You're like, I take that jump and my muscles will be there with me and my mind will be free and I will have no baggage. So if you feel like something is coming up, it's probably that baggage, emotional, physical, ancestral. Sit with it, feel it, and ground yourself in everyday tasks. Really take care of yourself in a way. Go back to the practices that work, because this is a time of wisdom also. So go back to your practices that work and let this flow. You're right at the end.
Yeah, and like we really felt like connecting astrology and all that we're sensing and feeling, and tarot as well, which I have in my hands, and as I speak, I'm going to pull. Connecting that to all that is happening right now in the world, maybe for the first time in our lifetimes, or maybe the first time in the last few years, there's real threats. There's a lot of fear. Our media is really, cracking down on our nervous systems. And like never before did we feel this level. We thought that after the lockdown and COVID, that we really felt interconnected, and that if something's happening in one part of the world, that other people might not get affected. Like we realize that we're all one underneath these bodies. But now I think there's a whole other level that is being uncovered, and that has to do with colonization, and living in this post-colonial world and what it really means, right? We know for a fact that many countries in our world have been going through a lot of unrest for a long time. And now when we hear about it in the media, we realize that the amount of focus that is put on Eurocentric and American news, like it makes us feel empathy in a different way. And why is that? And a lot of it, if you really see it from a perspective, is because in India, we are living in a post-colonial world where we have been colonized by Europeans, and it affects us, the way we see ourselves and the way we see the world. And we can notice this everywhere. And it brings us closer to connecting to our roots, to who we really are, to realizing that the narratives that we've heard may be a bit different from what we truly feel. And, we can't pretend anymore that we are separate, that there is, a disconnection. And it's also making it more and more clear that no matter what is going on externally, co-regulation and self-regulation are becoming important. Knowing that yes, there is fear and there is chaos externally, and that this is something that was bound to happen. A lot of the mess that we see now has always existed, and we were just not shown it in the way that it's coming up right now. And as a result of all the escalation that is going on, we can only expect more chaos around us. To like even with climate change, there is a lot of real threat, and we have to figure it out. We can no longer shove it under the carpet. And all I feel is that knowing what our purpose is something that can almost like be a raft that will help us like cruise through this time. Because a lot of us who subscribe to spiritual beliefs always feel like, I was born for a purpose. I'm here on earth because of a certain reason. And we might have been a bit confused about it up until now. We might have been like, yeah, when I do this, I feel alive, or these are the people that I felt connected to, or, I've never felt like this place is home and there's something more, and there's this deep yearning. And a lot of us right now, if we try, we almost catapulted towards our destination and our journey. I feel like there's a huge acceleration right now. And it's showing up like as purging right now, because it's that time, when you need to release and let go of all our fear-based connections to the way things used to happen, so that we get almost pulled towards our destination. We get pulled towards what we came here to create. And so that's a lot of the things I'm noticing. There's a huge acceleration when it comes to our purpose. And I'm also noticing that if for those of us who have been resourced, whether it is through personal practice or through supportive friendships or any kind of belief that keeps us going even when things are chaotic, it's a bit easier to be resilient. I'm noticing this as a very big um, you know trend across some of my close friends and the communities around me. Like, our ability to navigate the waves is much higher and much better. And that does not go to say that things are easier right now. Like, we're almost in the middle of a tsunami, is what it feels like. But our ability to stand our ground, stay in our power, speak our truth, no matter what comes in front of us, has become almost second nature in a very special way that we may have always been working towards. And this may not resonate with not everyone, but know that this is accessible. This is accessible in a way that it hasn't been before. And I just picked the emperor. And this is exactly what I was speaking about. The emperor is about, sitting on the throne and knowing that the world is in our hands. Like, he has a little globe. And the bees here are about community and friendship and togetherness. The sun is rising in the back, which is about hope, and the masculine principle that things will manifest. All we need to do is get extremely clear, really, really clear on what we're here to do. What do we want? What do we not want? What are we not going to settle for? What is the direction? What do you want to manifest? And here, this little sheep is about innocence, because we're not doing this from a space of ego, we're here to surrender, to serve, and to come together from a space of purpose and, devotion and love, the highest form of love and care and compassion for all beings. And we also have the phoenix, which is about death and rebirth and rising, even though there may be challenging situations. So this card, I think, encapsulates a lot of the energy we're being asked to hold, even in the middle of all that is going on. It was really also interesting this time, all of us met a couple of times in the last week to plan and prepare this session, because it's been really intense. We've all been going through a lot, especially dreams. Aakanksha, you can also come in if you want to add, because we've all been having dreams that are revealing a lot to us. And we spoke about this last time as well, about symbols coming through and messages coming through, or really scary dreams, like revealing to us exactly what we've been hiding away from, and like something that's really terrifying. A lot of people have been having dreams, or lucid dreams even, where our worst fear comes right in our face, and we have the opportunity now to go beyond it. And I'm just going to stop here and see if you or Aakanksha want to say anything.
I did want to say something, but about what you said before, and I've completely forgotten it. That has been the energy this time, where you're just hanging on and trying not to sink. And at least I've been feeling very spacey, where I'm just like, what's happening? Is this a dream? Are we in reality? Yeah. Yes, I remember. I think just to the point of connecting the dots between, the intention behind this podcast and accessibility. And also what Aarti just said, that, and what Aakanksha said, that another purpose within that accessibility is also demystifying a lot of these practices, terminologies, strategies, tools. It's not that some of us are born with these inherent sort of, crazy magical things. We have all just at some point in our life felt inclined towards one of these practices, and we have used that as a way to just add to our toolbox as we do. I still, for me, I'm, with astrology, I just find a lot of resonance because I use this as part of my self-actualization. Sometimes when, words don't make any sense, I like to have another analogy. I sometimes. So I think the idea is that through this podcast also is that to touch base on what all of us are feeling, and to share with every podcast. We want to bring different strategies and tools that, you know, we are also using, we are also experimenting with, and to share it so that we can all become creators of that knowledge. You know, it is not to gatekeep or say I know it and you must listen to my wisdom. We all yeah, we all are oracles, right? As Aarti would say.
And also, that we're getting into the right relationship with astrology, tarot, and spirituality, because a lot of people, look down on it, because when you're in fear and confusion, you read an astrology update and then you attach every single word to your identity and hold on to it. The idea is to not be in blind faith, nor in total skepticism. Like, how do you use it wisely with your feet on the ground and figure out your own essence? How does it connect to you? And a lot of the work we do is also around this. So if you want to know more about astrology, please reach out. We'd be really happy to help, and Shachi as well. Yeah, please reach out to us, and we can go further into exploration in your own time. Yeah.